Horns up and welcome to the first edition of Ramen Wars, where 8 of Mumbai's top ramen bowls will compete against each other in a knockout-style contest. The top 8 competing bowls are Izumi, Mizu, Sifa, Koraku, Origami, Milliways, Chef James, and Kofuku. Let's find out who will be battling it today. Contender number 1, the Pork Tonkotsu Ramen with Shoyu Tare from Izumi for 890 rupees, but I paid 959 on Swiggy with taxes and tip. Contender number 2, the Tonkotsu Ramen from Kofuku for 755, but I paid 817 on Swiggy with taxes and tip. It's Izumi versus Kofuku. Let the battle begin. Round 1, fight. Alright guys, so here we have the ramen bowls from Izumi and from Kofuku. Both are tonkotsu ramen, but you can see the bowls are vastly different from one another. The Kofuku bowl is very simplistic, basic. Izumi has loaded up a whole bunch of things. Before we do anything, we got to cut the egg. You can see the egg is still nice and jammy inside. So these are obviously both very different styles of the same ramen. Let's get into the Kofuku one. Let's start by tasting the broth. It's got nice umami, slight MSG vibes are happening. They've given us the egg, which is also perfectly jammy, as you can see. Nice jammy egg, but it's not like the Izumi egg, which has been, braised in soy or been soaked in soy. And we've got these Japanese fish cakes that come with it. Fishy. And 2 very tiny pieces of chashu pork. Izumi is way more generous. But you know what? Let's just taste everything. Let's get some of those noodles. The noodles are nice, they have a bit of chew to them. Let's get some of the pork. The pork, the fat is nice, but there's a bit of a burnt taste to it. They've obviously torched it, I think, and taken it a bit too far. Even the lean part of the pork, that you can see below the fat, slightly drier. So the pork, not that great. Let's try the noodles. The fish cake is nice, very, very fishy. The broth is kind of milky and it's got good flavor. Let's try a bit of the egg with some of that broth. I mean, the yolk is nice and jammy, but the egg itself is just an egg. Overall, that's not bad. Let's try Izumi's. Alright, let's start with the broth here. And the broth here is a little more clear. So the Izumi broth is a lot more subtle. You don't get that sort of MSG forward flavor like you do with this one. It's very well balanced. But let's try all the elements. So there's spring onion, there's the spinach here, there's the bamboo shoot. Let's get the noodles first. The noodles are much softer and really well cooked. Not mushy, but like they eat very beautifully. And they've also given these sort of mushrooms that go into the broth, and there's the bamboo shoot as well. Get some of those as well. Get some of the noodles as well with that. That pickled bamboo shoot adds a lot of acidity, which is really nice to balance the ramen. And of course spinach, because you got to eat your greens. Oh yeah, but it's the moment of truth. It's time to eat the pork. Let's get some of that. Look at that. Wow, that pork is like butter. It just melts. Even the lean portion is cooked beautifully. It's not dry, no off flavors. And of course the final, the egg. The egg. Oh my god, how much flavor in that egg. Wow. Got to get one final bite to make a decision. Alright, final thoughts and verdict. The Izumi ramen is layered, it's complex, it's perfection in a bowl. The Kofuku one is nice, it's very humble, very minimalistic, and it has a bit of that packet ramen flavor to it. It's got a bit of that MSG forward thing. Overall, I would say this ramen bowl from Kofuku is a 7 on 10 for me, and this one from Izumi is a good 9 out of 10. And that is why Izumi moves on to the next round of Ramen Wars, and Kofuku, thanks for trying, but you just didn't measure up today. Anyway, see you on the next episode of Ramen Wars. Until then, cheers and keep eating.